Okay, I'm going to talk about incorporating strategies and fine-tuning our own personal edge. We're learning so many different things. Which one works best? I like this from that one. I like that from this one. Combining and modifying your own personal strategy. That's all I'm doing on this channel. I'm trying to figure out what I like to do, which one I like and which one I trust, and which one I can actually execute according to my personality. So we have a moving average trend line strategy that I love. But I also like to intraday swing trade where you trade in a choppy market, and the market's a lot of the times it's choppy, and trend line breaks don't necessarily work. So with a trend line break on this particular day, March 27th, I took all these trades. It was a profitable day. It was one of my better profitable days. I started off my very first trade up here uh, when after the market opened was trade two, and I after the market opened, right up here, the bell rings. I'm going to show you what happened, okay? It's very interesting. I was trading pre-market and we were doing good, and then I was trying to figure out how to trade when the bell rang. Okay, the bell rings right here, and the market opens, and I buy off the 200 moving average. Trade two starts here. All right, I buy when it comes down off the 200. This is the 1,000 tick chart. Everything looks bullish on the higher time charts at this point. All right, let's draw the trend line I was using right here, right there. Okay, let's take a look at it. I want to show you how I'm combining different strategies. It's important. Now, keep in mind, you have to have your risk in mind. If you're getting a large position and you're only allowed to lose so much and the price goes to that point, you need to get out of your trade. Okay, if I put on 10 micros right here and I'm only allowed to lose $400, $500 in a day, and it drops to that point, I'm up 10 micros. I got to get out a lot quicker. But this was one micro. Okay, I start my trading off with one micro so I can feel the markets out. And I took a trend line break here, right there on that top yellow candle after it broke this down trend line, and it immediately fell. Okay, my stop loss is $400 to $500 in a day, and it literally I said, let's test this swing trading out. Let me see how far down I can let this thing go and still not hit my stop loss as an experiment. This is a demo account. I'm learning, I'm testing, and I want to fine tune and master certain swing trade ideas. Okay, so I let it drop and I let it drop through all of this. And now technically, I could have done some trading in here, and I will be doing trading in here when after I experiment and master this. But right here's a good trend line break right here. This trend line break right here would have profited, and I could have gotten my average price in and gotten out of one and lowered my average price from up here to somewhere, you know, here I would have been lowering my price. I would have been scalping out for one of them for a profit. And this is already an unrealized loss. Don't forget, until you sell it, it's an unrealized loss. So I'd be scalping out for a realized gain and an unrealized loss and all this, and I could have done that a couple of times right here. I could have taken a trade right here on this. This would have been pretty good, and this one right here would have been real good. And if I had bought right there and sold up here, this was a 1-to-1. This was a break even. This was a 1-to-1. Meanwhile, I'm dropping my average lower price, scalping in. So instead of this drop costing me $70, by the time I scalped some profits, this drop down here, holding this one, by the time it got down into this area, I'm only down $20, right? So there's an important thing to kind of picture here and understand. The goal is not to lose. Keep in mind, guys, the goal is not to lose more than your daily maximum limit. Okay, if you're looking at this trade right here as a position that you go all in on, then you're not going to be able to do what I'm doing here. And you would have hit your maximum loss on this move right here. Okay, but because I set a dollar value for every trade, I don't set a large entry point with a large position. I let the price move around so I can see what it's doing and look at my options. I trade in and out, scalping this and that. Let's see how far down it's going to go. If it stopped going down right here, and I had only lost $20 in this area because of two scalps that worked good, then the upside potential, instead of being here when it goes back up to the high, now I'm looking at it going from down here back up to the high, And it's just a scalping technique where you can move in and out, position size, move your average price around from buying and selling. My average price probably would have been somewhere around this area right here instead of right here where I first got in. Okay, this is the idea behind it. Again, I have to keep emphasizing to everyone that you cannot lose more than your daily maximum loss threshold. I'm practicing this because this is a demo account, and by the time I go to Apex and I sign up for one of their eval things, I'll be ready for what they make you do. You can't lose more than a certain amount of money on a day or period in the account. So you might as well start getting used to that. I don't want to lose more than, I say the ultimate is about 1,000. On those evals, you can lose up to 2,500. I want to be way prepared for that by the time I get over there. So I really don't want to lose more than 1,000. I say 400, but technically I'm looking more and more as I test this that 1,000 is about right as a maximum loss, because I'm making 200 a day with an 87% win rate. If I can do 200 a day, I'll have more than enough to cover the days that I lose. So I'm still testing it, but you haven't really seen the best part of this. Okay, this is what if I started scalping in this area. I didn't do it that day. I let the 1 micro continue to drop because, like I said, my maximum loss was $400. Starting up here around 18,530. 18,530 is the price on the micro NASDAQ. Okay, the micros. 18,530. By the time it got down here, and it did a 193-point drop, right? I was down about, let's see, 200. I was pushing it. Well, down here would have been about a $400 loss, because each $100 on 1 micro is $200 for 1 micro. It got down to 193 right here. But before it did, I bought, and I had 2, and that would have pushed me right into, I was really pushing that break even stop loss limit right here when it came down that far, and I would have had a decision to make right in this area to close my position for about a $450 loss. However, when it went up close to the 200, gave me a profit, I started closing 1. Right, I closed 1. So what I did down here is I bought 2 of them, and I lowered my average price like way, way, way down. Like it came way down to like here somewhere, right? Now, when I sold this one, what happened was I sold these 2 actually. I had my stop, my average price was here now in this area. I lost money on this particular trade, and I'm down about $123 at this point or something like that. And then I start buying and selling, scalping like 6 or 7 times right here. I added 2 at the bottom, sold when it went up 8 to 7 to 10 points. This was 17, 16 points. Some of them were 20 points. This one was a 20-point move. And I just kept buying and scalping until my average price was literally right here where I'm trading. And each time I made profits, I was actually making, this was a profitable day. I think I did $219 profit on this particular day. And I kept scalping, buying and scalping. I closed the position right here. I was profitable, and I started a new trade. I closed it right here. I started these yellow circles are new trades where I closed out the whole position. So all the way from the top up here to all these trades, to this first yellow circle where I started a new trade, all those trades in the blue are the same trade. And I kept trading it until I was profitable, and my average price was all the way down here. Okay. And then I started trading right here. I bought and I added, right? I bought 1 and added 2, and I sold for profit, and I sold for more profit. This one I bought high because I felt confident, and that I felt the market where it was going to be. And I sold as soon as it popped up. And then I started getting confident, and this was a tricky trade, but this one tested me because I bought so high and I was overly confident. I think I started with 2 instead of 1 micro. And when it dropped down here, I added 2 and it kept going. So I was long 4 right here on this circle. See, add 2, long 4. And when it went down into this, looked like an area that I like to call an order block, but from ICT. But when it went there, I added 4 more. It was long 8. And all through these scalps right here, it was boom, 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 profit, profit, profit. And I didn't do that again because it was getting in the afternoon hours, and I shouldn't have necessarily bought so high when it was already afternoon. I don't mind doing it before noon, but once you get to noon and beyond, you only got a few hours to work all this out, and you need time if you get caught in the wrong side. If you get caught in the wrong side, you're going to want to do it in the morning, so you have plenty of time to maneuver your way out of it. Okay, in the afternoon, you get caught in the wrong side, you might as well, your maximum loss is going to get hit. Now, what if, I'm doing a study right now, what if when I had 8 right here, when I had 8 contracts right here, what if it kept going down and down and down and down and down and down? And I did a study on what happens if it drops 100 points. And I'm just holding it, right? So I know what my risk is. Okay, so 1 micro, it drops 100 points is $200. So 8 micros that drops 100 points is $1,600. That's beyond my $1,000 limit at most, which I don't even really want to ever lose that much. I'm just saying I got to know somewhere where I'm going to get out. You got to draw the line somewhere, right? I really don't want to lose more than 400 or 500 in a day. So I'm thinking, you know, can I sustain a $1,600 loss? If I'm making one day I made $1,600 on this. $1,600 on the FOMC day was a $1,600 win. But since I was experimenting for the first time with it, I was playing around and I was long like 40 micros. And, you know, I think I was down about, I want to say about 1,000. And I was experimenting that day. But the point is, you need to know what your risk is. If it's real money, we got to know what we're getting into when the time comes to trade real money. We can't go in it blindly. We got to know that if I'm holding 8 contracts and this thing goes against me, it's going to be real quick before I need to get out. So in this case, you treat it with a stop loss very, very tight. Very tight. Okay? So once you get to the point where you're maxing out your position, because I was nowhere near my max out position up here. Nowhere's near it. And I did it deliberately. I didn't scalp here deliberately. I said, I remember thinking, I want to see how far down this is going to go today. And I saw all this. And I had some alarms set. And when I hear my alarms go off, I go, okay, you know what? This is a 200-point drop, straight down almost. And I looked at the higher time charts. It looked like it was coming into some support. I can't show you that right now because I'm not going to get into all that. But I use higher time charts, hour chart, day chart, 20 moving average on the day chart, you know, these kinds of things, Fibonacci, gap fills. You got to be, expanded on your awareness of higher time charts. But this is where we bought. And if you'll notice where we bought right here was the same area I kept buying at the bottom and selling at the top. Add 2, long 3, quick scalp up. Buy 1, long 2. I bought an extra one. I was only long 2 here. And here I kept buying 1, selling 1, buying 1, selling 1, buying 1. Always holding 1 in case it runs up to the top. And then I finally closed right here. I said, okay, I'm up about $180. That's good. And ever since I've been doing this, I have a win rate of about 87 to 92%. And that one day that something like this happens, if you don't know how to cut the losses and understand that now that I'm maxed out, now that I'm heavy, I can't just simply let it drop. If it doesn't bounce right here, I was telling you, if it doesn't bounce right here, then I got to start figuring out how to cut it. And in this area, could have been trend line trading, just a scalp, trend line trade to scalp, trend line trade to scalp, and to keep scalping it. you know, and that's what we're looking at. What we saw up here that I could have done when it first started dropping is what we could be doing the whole time. We don't have to let it drop 200 points. If I would have started scalping up here in the trend lines, and then I watched this trend line break here. Here's another one. Let's draw it out. This trend line break right here. You buy on the yellow breakout, sell when it hits the 20 EMA, and you just let it keep going. And you do, you try to do it. You try to do it here. Maybe you try to do it. Let's say you do it and it fails, because that's what happened right here. Then you have a choice. Now I'm only holding 2 right now. It's already dropped 150. You could have said, okay, I'm comfortable with 2 right now. I think we're nearing the support levels on the higher time charts, which we were. This was an area I didn't take it, but if I did, I have a choice. I could take the loss, and what I've done in the past, and you'll see in my videos, is I put my stop loss underneath right here for the 1, and I only hold 1. You might say, why didn't you get out of everything? Well, because eventually we're going to hit support, I'm thinking, and I don't want to close the trade for a loss. I want to try to make this a trade that's a win. And the trade, as long as, have I hit my maximum loss yet? No, I'm only down this and this. So that's the thing. If you close the trade's a loss. If you close one position and keep one, then the trade's still open. So I've done that just to keep the trade open. But that trend line trade doesn't work. Okay, great. Now we're looking for the next one, and want to keep trend line trading, and we look for the next trend line trade here. That one does work. This one right here, we trend line trade. I could have bought way down here for a great move up. Some don't work. You break even on some. You could close your position when you realize, hey, I'm getting too close to my average, my maximum stop loss. I don't want to stay in this trade. Let's go ahead and take the loss. That'll happen. That'll happen. All the scenarios will happen. What I've done, I'm just showing you what I did. Do I do it this way all the time? No. Sometimes I'm heavier way up higher, and I've got to start scalping here with my trend line breaks, right? I've got to start taking off. If I did a trend line break right here, and these were working, so I said, let me try this one. Let's look at this one. This trend line break coming down right here popped up, hit the 20 and reversed instantly. Something like that. If I was basically break even for the day, I might hold 2 all the way down, which could have been a bad idea. That could have been a mistake. See, I'm still learning. Or I could have put my stop loss right here for one of them and just held the 1 down like I did, right? Maybe try the trend line break a few more times here. It keeps going, hold 1 until I finally start seeing right over here is where I started really, I could have, right here, I held this, I bought 1 here, and I said, you know what, I'm not going to get out of this. I got 2 right here. I'm not going to get out of this. I felt like I hit the daily levels on the higher time charts. I said, this looks like support. I'm gonna endure this. If it keeps going right here, I would have hit my maximum loss. So it's a chance we take on every trade. There's no guarantee any trade's going to work. So you have to have your limit, and we're going to lose sometimes. So with a 94% win rate, or 80, depends on the days you look at, the 87% win rate on TradeZilla. Since I've been doing this, 75 trades, 84, I want to say, percent win rate. You're going to lose some, and you want to keep the losses small. You don't want to have a $1,600, $3,200 loss. You really don't. So I'm thinking if this would have went down, I probably would have had, honestly, maybe a $550 loss, because I probably would have said, I'm beyond the 400. I need to cut this thing. I'm not going to. That's what would have happened. In real money, we have to definitely have our convictions and minds made up on this kind of thing. So let me try to summarize this so it's not so confusing. Trend line break strategies are awesome, and it's my favorite way to trade. Markets are in a trend or a range. It's either moving up or down, or it's in a range. And it's in a range a lot. If we can learn how to trade in the range and incorporate trendline break strategies with the intraday swing trading, which is a range trade technique, I think we're only going to be better traders if we know how to incorporate trading strategies and setups and put them together and kind of modify our own personal style. And that's what I'm trying to do here. The loss is set by my daily limit. What is my daily limit? What is your daily limit? What do you want to put as your limit, right? And you can't go past that. And so, yes, over here, if this would have kept going and we were not at the daily support levels like I was thinking, I would have lost here. And another area I could have lost on this trade would have been over here for sure. I was really heavy with 8. Over on the other side, I was only heavy with 3. So I wouldn't have had to go down very far here to push that limit. So it went up, thank goodness. It went up right here, right off this support level like I was hoping, right? So this would have been an area where this could have easily been a loss for me. So there's 2 times this could have been a loss. It just didn't. And there's days when we win our trades. There's days that our trade works for us, and there's days when our trade does not work for us. This is no different than a moving average trendline break strategy or a Fibonacci strategy or any other kind of strategy that just worked for that person. They tried their technique and it went in their favor and they got it. That's what this is. It went in my favor and I got it. Could it have gone wrong? Yeah. Does that mean it's a bad strategy? No. Any strategy can go wrong. Every strategy has a losing trade in it, right? There's no 100% win rate strategies out there that I know of. Okay, so this is just another strategy that has a risk limit that we're experimenting with. We're bringing some strategies together to kind of modify our own edge, it looks like. And I'm hoping that if I can get out of my debt to the demo account, that I can go and do an eval account at Apex, and then I will be able to hopefully pass it and then start making money. Because this is all demo account right now. That's the best way to learn. All right, we'll see you in the next video. Lord willing, peace.